one of the most talked about Islamic preachers in Nigeria who have had photographs with people suspected to be terrorists, terrorizing villages and communities in the northern part of Nigeria when he visited the suspected terrorists in their camps inside forests on the ground of having peace talk with the armed groups. Sheikh Ahmed Abubakar Mahmoud Gumi has described as a terrorist act the United States U.S. military action ordered by President Donald Trump that attacked and killed yet to be ascertained total numbers of ISIS-affiliated Lakurawa terrorists in Sokoto state on Christmas Day. The Islamic cleric called on the people in the villages affected by the U.S. missile strikes on Thursday night to post on social media platforms evidences of damages caused by the U.S. military action. According to Gumi, it is in line with the teachings of Islam for terrorists to be killed, but the killing must be done by people with a clean and holy hands, and not by another terrorist whose hands are stained with the blood of hundreds of thousands of innocent children, women, and men. Just recently, stressing that the U.S. involvement in the fight against terrorism in Nigeria will make the country becomes an enemy of its neighbors, a theater of war, because the involvement will attract the real anti-US forces into the West Africa country, and in a manner that looked like mockery. Sheikh Gumi said, dropping a few bombs here and there cannot tackle the menace of terror. They need serious military on the ground, which, if we are serious, we have enough men to do that. In contrary to Gumi's assertions, the Nigeria government, through the office of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, said it was President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday that gave the US the approval to carry out the strikes against the terrorists. But the government statement apparently did not go down well with Omoyele Sowore, a human rights activist and the founder of Sahara Reporters news media, who insisted that it is evident that the strikes were carried out without the genuine authority or informed consent of the weaklings masquerading as government under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and in a swift reaction to Omoyele Sowore, one of the recently nominated and confirmed ambassador-designate, Reno Omokri said, "I am afraid I will have to disagree with Mr. Omoyele Sowore, and others like him, who are misinforming the Nigerian public that the recent actions against terrorists are proof that Nigeria lacks sovereignty. Such views are indicative of a lack of awareness of international relations. It is also wrong for Mr. Sowore to call our government and military weak." Sheikh Ahmed Abubakar Mahmoud Gumi, in a statement titled, "The Symbolism of the US Strike," he shared on his verified Facebook account when he reshared the news link of a post published by CNN on Friday, said, "Annihilating terrorists is an Islamic obligation. The Prophet, peace be upon him, wished he annihilated them. He said, should I live till they appear, I would kill them as the killing of the nation of Ad. Al-Bukhari and Muslim." This said, it should only be carried out by clean, holy hands, not by another terrorist whose hands are stained with the blood of hundreds of thousands of innocent children, women, and men just recently. This is the mistake Nigeria has made. Terrorists don't fight terrorists in truth. They may only kill innocent people and have ulterior motives behind the drama of fighting terror. As a principle, no nation should allow its land to be a theater of war. And no nation should allow its neighbors to be their enemies. If Nigeria wants military assistance, China, Turkey, and Pakistan can do the job effectively. The US involvement in Nigeria will attract the real anti-US forces, making our land the theater of war. The US's involvement in Nigeria, citing coming to protect Christians, will ultimately polarize our nation and infringe on our sovereignty. Nigeria should halt all military cooperation with the USA immediately because of its imperial tendencies worldwide and seek the help of those neutral countries mentioned. Nigerians are too educated to be played with. This is going to be a 2027 campaign discourse. Meanwhile, dropping a few bombs here and there cannot tackle the menace of terror. They need serious military on the ground, which, if we are serious, we have enough men to do that. We call on all villages affected to upload videos and pictures of any casualties involved. The attacks are symbolic of a harbinger neo-crusade war against Islam. Attack on Sokoto, where 90% are Muslim with no imminent danger of terror, while the real threat is in Maiduguri and on a Christmas Eve, with the claim of protecting against Christian genocide, says Alot. We believe the terror is manufactured and sustained by the same people claiming to fight it. A word is enough for the wise. According to Channels Television, the Nigeria government said President Bola Tinubu gave the go-ahead for the US strikes against terrorists in the country's northwestern region. Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tuggar said this on Friday, hours after the US Department of War and President Donald Trump announced the North American nation had conducted strikes against the terrorists. Now that the US is cooperating, we would do it jointly, and we would ensure, just as the President emphasized yesterday before he gave the go-ahead, that it must be made clear that it is a joint operation, and it is not targeting any religion nor simply in the name of one religion or the other, the minister said on Channels Television's Sunrise Daily. We are a multi-religious country, and we are working with partners like the US to fight terrorism and safeguard the lives and properties of Nigerians, the minister said. Some have viewed the strikes as a violation of the country's territorial integrity, but Tuggar says the federal government would not take any actions that would violate the country's sovereignty. Omiyele Sowore reacted and said, I have read reports that the United States government launched attacks on Nigerian soil on Christmas Day, as announced by Donald Trump and the US Secretary of War, Peter Hegseth, purportedly targeting terrorist groups within Nigeria. Although the Nigerian government now claims it was aware and describes the operation as a joint effort with vague, international partners, it is evident that the strikes were carried out without the genuine authority or informed consent of the weaklings masquerading as government under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. My position remains unchanged. Judging by the nature of the confirmed strike on a village in Sokoto, it is clear that the US president under whose authority this operation occurred neither understands nor genuinely cares about Nigeria or Nigerians. It is deeply troubling that Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, lacks the capable and sovereign leadership required to protect its people and its territory. As a result, the country has been reduced to a bystander while its sovereignty is violated under the direction of US President Donald J. Trump. I reiterate, only true, tested, and informed leadership can protect Nigerians, not imperiled, jaundiced neoconservatives operating from Washington, D.C. Reno Omokri in a statement titled, Addressing Omiyele Sowore's Statements on Nigeria's Sovereignty, said, I am afraid I will have to disagree with Mr. Omiyele Sowore, and others like him, who are misinforming the Nigerian public that the recent actions against terrorists are proof that Nigeria lacks sovereignty. Such views are indicative of a lack of awareness of international relations. Please fact-check me. Larger and older nations than Nigeria, which I would not want to mention out of respect for these countries and the governments, have asked for and received direct international and foreign military assistance, intervention, specifically from the United States and other countries, when dealing with terrorists operating within their borders, especially when those belligerents are mobile and have embedded themselves so close to innocent civilian populations that it would be difficult to use conventional means against them without harming law-abiding citizens. While I would not want to identify these nations, journalists and interested members of the public can use Google or other AI tools to help reveal them. It is also wrong for Mr. Sowore to call our government and military weak. For his education, Mr. Sowore may want to know that Nigeria has a better military record than most nations, and has decisively brought peace and stabilized several countries, beginning from the Congo in 1960, to Tanzania in 1964, to Lebanon in 1978, and then via Ecomog in the Mano River region, Liberia, Sierra Leone, etc., between 1991 and 2006. Our military has also helped restore democratically elected governments in places like Sao Tome and Principe and others. When Nigeria's armed forces intervened in those nations, they did not tamper with or in any way weaken the sovereignty of those countries or the governments. In fact, we were invited either by the countries themselves, the United Nations, or regional bodies. The Nigerian armed forces have a sterling military record as a dependable fighting unit. In fact, due to their superior training, Nigerian military personnel have served as chiefs of army staff in other nations. However, when you are fighting cowardly terrorists that weave in and out of civilian populations, you need the help of those with precision targeting capabilities. What Mr. Sawore and others like him may not be aware of is that no single nation has ever defeated terror on its own. It takes international effort. Mr. Sawore has himself admitted receiving funding from multiple US funding agencies. Based on his admission, should that mean he is a foreign puppet, unfit to aspire to leadership in Nigeria? Of course not. If Omiyele Sawore and others like him have anger over what has happened, please let it be directed at the terrorists and their sponsors, who have killed many Nigerians of all faiths and ethnicities and disrupted communities, while preventing honest and hard-working Nigerians from going about their lawful activities. Projecting anger at anything that will bring relief and succor to those Nigerians most affected by terror is not patriotic, no matter how much some try to cloak it in such terms. The priority is to protect the lives and properties of Nigerians by any legal and moral means necessary and possible. If, indeed, people have any influence at all, that sway should not be used to cause dissension and turn some Nigerians against their leaders. Rather, it should be used to get those terrorists to turn a new leaf, drop their weapons, embrace peace, and show fidelity to the Nigerian flag and constitution. May God bless Nigeria.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.
While many Nigerians were asleep after the 2025 Christmas celebration, the United States, U.S. warship moved close and took position in the territorial Africa waters, then launched missiles at the dead of the night on Thursday into areas predominantly dominated by the Lakurawa terrorists in the Nigeria northwestern state of Sokoto, with President Donald Trump saying many of the terrorists were killed, but the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS in the West Africa province, is yet to issue a statement over the airstrikes on the Lakurawa camps in Sokoto, the armed group that is affiliated with the Islamic State Sahel province operating in Mali, Niger, and the Nigeria Kebbi and Sokoto states, whose activities are mostly observed in 5 local government areas of Tangasa, Gudu, Alela, Binji, and Salame in Sokoto state. Some residents at Jabo village in the Tambul local government area of Sokoto state posted videos online to indicate that some components used in making the missiles fell on a farmland in the Jabo village. The videos showed a lot of the villagers, mostly younger ones, holding phones with touchlight on, recording the scene of the burning parts of one of the missiles in the farmland, while some took a closer camera angle shot of some of the components that have manufacturing inscriptions, dates and brand labels. The U.S. Africa Command, in a statement a few hours ago, said, at the direction of the President of the United States and the Secretary of War, and in coordination with Nigerian authorities, U.S. Africa Command conducted strikes against ISIS terrorists in Nigeria on December 25, 2025, in Sokoto State. President Donald Trump, while announcing the military action through his Truth social media platform on Thursday night, said, "Tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing, primarily, innocent Christians, at levels not seen for many years, and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay, and tonight, there was." The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military, and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues. Peter Hegseth, the U.S. Secretary of War, reiterated the U.S. President's announcement in a tweet, saying, "The President was clear last month, the killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and elsewhere must end. The Department of War is always ready, so ISIS found out tonight, on Christmas. More to come. Grateful for Nigerian government support and cooperation. Merry Christmas." On November 25, 2025, Peter Hegseth had said, "Yes, sir. The killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria, and anywhere, must end immediately. The Department of War is preparing for action. Either the Nigerian government protects Christians, or we will kill the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. Bulama Bukati, a lawyer and social commentator, tweeted in reaction that, "I'm pleased to see that President Trump appears to have listened to our concerns back in November and worked with the Nigerian government rather than acting unilaterally." The US airstrikes reportedly took place in Sokoto state, suggesting they targeted the Lakurawa group, which has become increasingly lethal. Strikes against the group are a welcome development, as they can help degrade its leadership and logistical capacity. This is especially positive given that the operation was carried out with the consent and cooperation of the Nigerian government. We had reported in early November 2025 that President Donald Trump of the United States of America has placed US soldiers on red alert for possible war in Nigeria. According to President Trump, the US Department of War should prepare US troops for possible military action in Nigeria if the Nigerian government continued to allow the killing of Christians. The US troops may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. This, President Trump issued on Saturday evening in line with Greenwich Meridian time after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu personally signed a statement rejecting Trump's earlier claim on Friday that Christians are being targeted and killed in Nigeria. Although President Bola Ahmed Tinubu disagreed with Trump, who had described the high level of insecurity in Nigeria as a religious war by Islamic terrorists against Christians, but some Nigerians quickly took to the comment section of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's post on X social media platform, and pasted a screenshot of a tweet published by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on January 29, 2014, wherein President Bola Ahmed Tinubu apparently had long accepted and agreed that the insecurity in Nigeria is possibly a religious war against Christians in the West Africa country. Verbatim, in the tweet, Tinubu said, "The slaughtering of Christian worshippers is strongly condemnable. It calls to question the competence of Jonathan, then President of Nigeria, to protect Nigerians." This old statement by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu indicated that President Donald Trump of the United States of America may not be the first person to describe the insecurity in Nigeria as a religious war against Christian communities in the West Africa country.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.
In an effort to challenge and prove wrong the statement of Harrison Gwamnishu, a well-known civilian volunteer assisting Nigeria security operatives with intelligence information that has led to the arrest and killing of suspected kidnappers in gun battle, that Harrison Gwamnishu was never arrested or charged to court by the Nigeria police force over the 5.4 million nairas he allegedly removed from the 20 million nairas ransom he was contracted to hand over to the kidnappers for the release and rescue of the married couple kidnapped in Avili community in the Etsiko West local government area of Edo State in late November 2025. A leading Nigeria social media influencer and human rights activist, Martins Vincent Otts aka VeryDarkMan, on Tuesday night took to his social media pages and presented an apparent questionable court document, probably with malicious intent to manipulate and mislead unsuspecting members of the public in order to malign the character of Harrison Gwamnishu. This, in the court document presented by VeryDarkMan, the alleged charge serial numbers were covered with a colored ink. No date of court sitting was written on the court document. The document indicated that the alleged 3-count charges were drafted and signed on the 18th of December 2025, a day before Harrison Gwamnishu was asked to go home from the police custody on December 19, 2025, while awaiting the advice of the Department of Public Prosecutor, DPP, on the matter. And the apparent fraudulent court document did not show the officer or the person responsible for the court count charges, and VeryDarkMan apparently in a manipulative manner did not show the full signature and any name of the officer who authored the alleged court charges. VeryDarkMan claimed in the video that the prosecutor wanted Harrison Gwamnishu jailed for 6 months, but the judge he identified as Justice Etinosa Adekombi allegedly on her personal consideration. because of the Christmas and New Year season and public intervention, decided to grant Harrison Gwamnishu bail. Harrison Gwamnishu says he was never arrested by the police or charged to court as speculated in the public spaces over the 5.4 million nairas he allegedly removed out of the 20 million nairas ransom he was given to hand over to kidnappers, and as well apparently used the money as a bait to stage sting operation for the release and rescue of the husband and wife simply identified as Mr. and Mrs. Ibrahim, kidnapped in Avili community in the Etsiko West local government area of Edo State, which generated public reactions after the kidnappers set free the wife and kept the husband in captivity on the ground that the money given to them was not complete, and some persons who have access to the apparent sensitive security information went public to create an impression as if Harrison Gwamnishu stole part of the ransom money, even when Harrison Gwamnishu explained to them that it is part of his operational procedures to remove some cash from the ransom money. His explanation apparently went on deaf ears, and people who may be best described as mischief makers took advantage of the issue to call Harrison Gwamnishu names and reopen his alleged past deeds in a prejudiced manner to cast aspersions on him, even when they knew that Harrison Gwamnishu has a long history with video evidences of assisting security operatives to rescue kidnapped victims, and in some cases, the total money paid as ransom were recovered and returned to the victims' families, and the sting operation usually leads to the killing and arrest of the suspected kidnappers. This, according to Harrison Gwamnishu in a statement he issued through his verified Facebook account some hours ago. He was the one who personally submitted himself voluntarily to the Edo State Command of the Nigeria Police Force to enable the police investigate his action, that he never had the intention of stealing the money, and his action of removing some money from the ransom was part of his usual operational procedures, adding that the police never charged him to court, and while in self-detention with the police, he became the cell president and he facilitated the release of 4 persons who were probably arrested and detained by the police unjustly for a crime the beneficiaries may know nothing about. And a video posted online by Harrison Gwamnishu on Monday night showed he arrived home to the waiting hands of his elderly mother, who was seen in the video singing, dancing with other family members, friends and well-wishers, and screaming loud with joy, while using one of her hands to caress the chest of her son, Harrison Gwamnishu, during which she said a lot of prayers in her local dialect. We had reported that the Nigeria Police Force under the leadership of IGP Kayode Egbetoken has kept mum since reports indicated that the US-trained private intelligence officer, Harrison Gwamnishu, who was invited to facilitate the rescue of a married couple, husband and wife simply identified as Mr. and Mrs. Ibrahim, that was kidnapped since late November at their home in Avil community, a village near Auchi Polytechnic in the Etsiko West local government area of Edo State, has been arrested and remanded to prison by a court sitting in Benin City, the Edo State capital, over allegations that the private intelligence officer, Harrison Gwamnishu, underpaid the ransom money given to him to give to the kidnappers to rescue the married couple in captivity. The reports of Harrison Gwamnishu's arrest and subsequent remand to prison custody became widespread after a popular Nigeria social media activist, Vincent Martins-Otts, in a video statement on Friday morning alleged that he has facilitated the arrest of the private intelligence officer, Harrison Gwamnishu, for allegedly removing 5.4 million nairas from the total amount given to him by the victim's family to help pay as ransom to the kidnappers. This occurred after the sting operations Gwamnishu had prepared the ransom money for was probably aborted after a man, whose real names may be Oshiorimhe Jobasegheme, leaked, revealed and exposed the plan's sensitive security information online, according to the suspect who leaked out the sensitive security operational plans of Gwamnishu. Harrison Gwamnishu never told the family he was going to remove some money from the ransom, that the kidnappers said the money was not complete, hence only the wife was released, the man still held in captivity due to the incomplete ransom payment. The suspect, Oshiorimhe Jobasegheme, in a video recorded statement stated that he was the one that helped facilitate the service of Harrison Gwamnishu when the family of the kidnapped victims requested for it. The action of the suspect may have prompted Harrison Gwamnishu to abort the sting operations, obviously for the safety of his personal life and the lives of Nigeria soldiers and other security operatives he does use to execute and complete his sting operations against kidnappers, which often leads to the killing of the kidnappers and recovering of the total ransom paid. For the purpose of clarity, sting operations is a deceptive practice and undercover tactics used by journalist or intelligent officer or security operative to get closer to a suspected criminal or criminals in order to be more familiar with the criminals and the environment they operate. And the deceptive practice may include the journalist or intelligent officer or security operative pretending to give ransom money to kidnappers in a manner that can cause a delay and proper assessment of the environment before the security troops may launch offensive attack against the criminals. The action of a Segheme of leaking out sensitive security information may be of interest. Why Nigeria's soldiers and other security operatives are being killed in large numbers whenever in previous and recent years the Nigeria security troops are on rescue missions, including the recent mass killing of soldiers along with Brigadier General Uba Musa and civilian JTF members at Wajeroko village in Borno State by criminals.
Alright, so that demonic, evil, very dark man, that's wicked, very dark man, is about to do his demonic, evil, wicked, envious, jealous things that he usually does. But guess what? It always comes with truth. And you all know it. You can't take that away from him. No matter the accusation, you know the truth. And you can't skip his video either. That's the law. You can accuse, push narrative, but you can never skip his videos. So sit down again and watch. So, are you saying I've made his first post? Good for him. And then he said, let's skip to the important part. He said, for clarity, I was neither invited nor arrested by the police. As a law-abiding citizen, I voluntarily presented myself for investigation regarding the incident. Which incident? Let's skip that. At the moment, I have not been charged, as the matter is still under review by the Directorate of Public Prosecution. See, this is the problem. I don't like lies. Damage control here and there. Anyways, you have not been charged. I will read your charges for you. You might be wondering how I got the document, but I'll read it for you regardless. As you can see, in the High Court of Justice of Edo State, in the Benin Criminal Division, holding at Benin City, Motion 2025, between Commissioner of Police, complainant/applicant, and Gwamnishu Arisin, M, 35 years, suspect. He said he has not been charged. Now let's read this charge. Charge that you, Gwamnishu M, on or about the 27th day of November 2025, around Auchi, Edo State, within the Auchi Criminal Division, under false pretense of inserting some security device into money meant for ransom payment of kidnappers, with intent to defraud, did obtain the sum of 5.4 million naira from one Abdulaziz Saliu, and thereby committed an offense contrary to section 1 bracket at and punishable under section 1 subsection 3 of the Advance Fee Fraud and Other Fraud Related Offences Act 2006. That's one. Count 2 of your charge. That's you, Gwamnishu M, on or about 27th day of November 2025, around Auchi, Edo State, within the Auchi Criminal Division, did have in possession counterfeit currency notes of 5.4 million naira, which you knew be counterfeit currency, and thereby committed an offense punishable under section 25, subsection 5 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2023. Counts 3. That you, Gwamnishu, on or about the 2nd day of December 2025, around Auchi in Edo State, within the Criminal Division, did cause the continuing kidnap of one Zagiru Ibrahim M, and thereby committed an offense punishable under Section 3 of the Kidnapping Prohibition Amendment Law of Edo State. You see, these are very, very big. You see the counts too. My lawyer and I put down for that problem. That issue of fake Naira notes, say, just to do damage control, right? They now put it in a problem for count 2. Count 3, they are alleging kidnapping. That is part of the people doing kidnapping, based on their own investigation. Now, I wouldn't know why you would lie about something like this. Now, this is the charge that you said you will never charge. Just in case you still want to argue further, this is the judge that sat on the case. Her name is Honorable Justice Etinosa Adekambi. That's the judge. That was the prosecutor. The judge was there. As a matter of fact, the prosecutor wanted you to go to jail for what you did for 6 months. But the judge was, of course, the judge just had to. Christmas they come, and of course a lot of people trying to plead and all that. So the judge just said, yeah. Now, let's go back again, right? He said, for clarity, I was neither invited nor arrested by the police. That means you walked in. So why didn't you walk out? Why didn't you walk out? Now, I don't like damage control, you see. But anything you say, I'm just going to come say something. And of course, you all know VeryDarkMan has proof. And let me tell you see, Nigerians have what I call a problem. It's not as if they don't know. Whatever thing I say, trust me, the whole country, anybody that watches it know I'm not lying. Of course, some people out of hate, I don't attack their favorite person before, they are scared that tomorrow might be their turn, they will just gather. It's like a group, you understand? They have a group of haters somewhere. They camp against VeryDarkMan. But the problem is this, you can't do anything. Do you understand? You can't do anything. And once VeryDarkMan talks about you, take it anywhere. There's what I do. I call it the truth hole. I put the truth hole on your personality. You might not go to prison, you might not go to jail, but there's that doubt I give. If I put a bomb, before anybody takes your story anymore, it's going to take ages. We have not even started. I will now go bit by bit into the whole thing. Like I said, I would just want you to come and tell the public. Nobody can believe you over VeryDarkMan. It's not even possible. They are all lying to themselves. Do you understand? And again, this is the law. Let me tell you how the law. It's my law. It's my law. When you have a problem with VeryDarkMan, right, this is what happens. Or when there's a problem. When people have a problem with VDM, that period, they get a lot of engagement. After 4 months, the people know VDM is not lying. They know, they just want to just bullshit VDM. But of course, VDM doesn't give a fuck. So they go to support you, po. Then later, they know the truth. They are going to go back. They did it with China, Ross. Where is it today? Mr. Jollof, a few days ago. Everybody, oh, Jollof. You can't get no good engagement no more. You have to do something extraordinary, right? Do you understand? So when you do damage control, sometimes, and these sort of things, I look at them and I smile. 4 months, they know VDM don't lie. 2, 3 months, they know VDM don't lie. Do you understand? They know VDM don't lie. Like I said, my work sometimes is not to take you to jail. No, not because I want them to arrest. No. Simple. I just put a hole there. It's a hole. It's called the truth hole in the character. Do you understand? And the painful part is, all of you cannot do anything about it. Nobody can do anything about it. This is VeryDarkMan we are talking about. Do you understand? Now your connection cannot do much. You bring out money, we bring out money too. You can't tell no police to go pick VeryDarkMan up anymore that you have some connection. It's not going to work. Unless if you are the government. Of course, the government can do that. They are the government. But no single entity, again, in this full country can do shit anymore. You can waste 200 million, I'll put it down. You go higher, I go higher. We put money down now. And guess what? What people don't know is, once the case is in the public, I can talk about it. It's my right to talk about it. I like my new accent. Peace and love, don't play. If you play, don't learn, and you will learn the hard way. And in this case, you all will learn. Like I said, I'll make everybody look stupid. That is what I do best. Peace and love, don't play. And you all know, I don't need love from nobody. I don't use love for nothing.
Osazuwa Nedo, bringing you the news in a more digital way.
Harrison Gwamnishu says he was never arrested by the police or charged to court as speculated in the public spaces over the 5.4 million nairas he allegedly removed out of the 20 million nairas ransom he was given to hand over to kidnappers, and as well apparently used the money as a bait to stage sting operation for the release and rescue of the husband and wife simply identified as Mr. and Mrs. Ibrahim, kidnapped in Avili community in the Etsiko West local government area of Edo State, which generated public reactions after the kidnappers set free the wife and kept the husband in captivity on the ground that the money given to them was not complete, and some persons who have access to the apparent sensitive security information went public to create an impression as if Harrison Gwamnishu stole part of the ransom money, even when Harrison Gwamnishu explained to them that it is part of his operational procedures to remove some cash from the ransom money. His explanation apparently went on deaf ears, and people who may be best described as mischief makers took advantage of the issue to call Harrison Gwamnishu names and reopen his alleged past deeds in a prejudiced manner to cast aspersions on him, even when they knew that Harrison Gwamnishu has a long history with video evidences of assisting security operatives to rescue kidnapped victims, and in some cases, the total money paid as ransom are recovered and returned to the victims' families, and the sting operation usually leads to the killing and arrest of the suspected kidnappers. This, according to Harrison Gwamnishu in a statement he issued through his verified Facebook account some hours ago. He was the one who personally submitted himself voluntarily to the Edo State Command of the Nigeria Police Force to enable the police investigate his action, that he never had the intention of stealing the money, and his action of removing some money from the ransom was part of his usual operational procedures, adding that the police never charged him to court, and while in self-detention with the police, he became the cell president and he facilitated the release of 4 persons who were probably arrested and detained by the police unjustly for a crime the beneficiaries may know nothing about, and a video posted online by Harrison Gwamnishu on Monday night showed he arrived home to the waiting hands of his elderly mother, who was seen in the video singing, dancing with other family members, friends and well-wishers, and screaming loud with joy, while using one of her hands to caress the chest of her son, Harrison Gwamnishu, during which she said a lot of prayers in her local dialect. In his words, Harrison Gwamnishu said, "I did not return alone. During my time in custody, I became the cell presido, OBJ, and later handed over that responsibility to a young man, Honor Abba, who had also been unjustly arrested and detained. While there, I quietly supported the release of 4 individuals who were being held without cause. And today, Honor Abba from Benue State has also regained his freedom. My sincere appreciation goes to my Edo human rights team, led by John Odion Kadiri, for their invaluable support in making this possible. Dear family, I am pleased to inform you all that I have been released from custody. Words cannot express how grateful I am for your support, especially considering that many of you had not yet heard my own side of what truly happened. For clarity, I was neither invited nor arrested by the police. As a law-abiding citizen, I voluntarily presented myself for investigation regarding the incident. At the moment, I have not been charged, as the matter is still under review by the Directorate of Public Prosecution. I sincerely appreciate every one of you. I will take time to personally thank you all for standing by me. My special appreciation goes to my lawyers, Barrister Eliawala Afolabi, San, Barrister Delaide Benedian, Barrister Favor Ajuabor, and Barrister Awele Ideal for their professionalism and dedication in securing my release. Despite my many years of advocating against police brutality, one might have assumed the police would be hostile towards me. Instead, I am grateful to the Edo State Commissioner of Police for his wisdom and professionalism. I must also commend the hard-working investigation team led by CSP Oseje for their care and fatherly guidance during my time in detention. Thank you all once again for being part of my journey, said Harrison Gwamnishu, founder, Safe City Volunteer Foundation. We had reported that the Nigeria police force under the leadership of IGP Kayode Egbetoken has kept mum since reports indicated that the US-trained private intelligence officer, Harrison Gwamnishu, who was invited to facilitate the rescue of a married couple, husband and wife simply identified as Mr. and Mrs. Ibrahim, that was kidnapped since late November at their home in Avili community, a village near Auchi Polytechnic in the Etsiko West local government area of Edo State, has been arrested and remanded to prison by a court sitting in Benin City, the Edo State capital, over allegations that the private intelligence officer, Harrison Gwamnishu, underpaid the ransom money given to him to give to the kidnappers to rescue the married couple in captivity. The reports of Harrison Gwamnishu's arrest and subsequent remand to prison custody became widespread after a popular Nigeria social media activist, Vincent Martins-Otts, in a video statement on Friday morning alleged that he has facilitated the arrest of the private intelligence officer, Harrison Gwamnishu, for allegedly removing 5.4 million naira from the total amount given to him by the victim's family to help pay as ransom to the kidnappers. This occurred after the sting operations Gwamnishu had prepared the ransom money for was probably aborted after a man, whose real names may be Oshiorimhe Job Asegheme, leaked, revealed and exposed the planned sensitive security information online. According to the suspect who leaked out the sensitive security operational plans of Gwamnishu, Harrison Gwamnishu never told the family he was going to remove some money from the ransom, that the kidnappers said the money was not complete, hence only the wife was released. The man still held in captivity due to the incomplete ransom payment. The suspect, Oshiorimhe Job Asegheme, in a video-recorded statement stated that he was the one that helped facilitate the service of Harrison Gwamnishu when the family of the kidnapped victims requested for it. The action of the suspect may have prompted Harrison Gwamnishu to abort the sting operations, obviously for the safety of his personal life and the lives of Nigeria's soldiers and other security operatives he does use to execute and complete his sting operations against kidnappers, which often leads to the killing of the kidnappers and recovering of the total ransom paid. For the purpose of clarity, sting operations is a deceptive practice and undercover tactics used by journalist or intelligence officer or security operative to get closer to a suspected criminal or criminals in order to be more familiar with the criminals and the environment they operate, and the deceptive practice may include the journalist or intelligence officer or security operative pretending to give ransom money to kidnappers in a manner that can cause a delay in proper assessment of the environment before the security troops may launch offensive attack against the criminals. The action of Asegheme of leaking out sensitive security information may be of interest. Why Nigeria soldiers and other security operatives are being killed in large numbers whenever in previous and recent years the Nigeria security troops are on rescue missions, including the recent mass killing of soldiers along with Brigadier General Uba Musa and civilian JTF members at Wajiriko village in Borno State by criminals.
What's your name?
My name is Ona Abba.
Ona Abba. Where are you from?
I'm from Benin State.
Benin State. Wetin carry you come stay here?
Last week Wednesday, I did for this Omega guest house. So some strike force come bust us for the lodge. Me and one of my brother girlfriend with two of my brothers who they carry from road. Okay. Where they accuse them say they be kidnappers, say they won't kidnap one woman. Meanwhile, the woman don't been duped them before. So as they see the woman, they see me, they go police station. Because say with the Benue boys and we know they hear Benin, they turn the thing upside down. Come label us as kidnappers. And so I still find myself for state CID without doing anything. Now Lord, they come carry me from.
Okay. How you take meet person wey dey you?
So when they come lock me for cell, they lock me for like 3 days. I no see food chop. Nobody come for me. None of even the complainants no ask of us. My IPO, nobody come see us. No food, nothing for 3 days. So my brother did the other cell. I can't manage enter the cell. So I can't meet one Mr. Harrison. I've forgotten his surname, but Oga Harrison, his name is Harrison. So I met him inside the other cell. Then since then, he take care of us for like 1 week. Today go make am 1 week and 5 days when I don't spend for CID here. So he was the one taking care of us today. I want to use this opportunity to thank him. Now he come be the first way to come pay me for more today.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.
Barely 1 month after terrorists invaded the Christian school on November 21, 2025 and kidnapped over 230 school children at the St. Mary Catholic Church School in Papri town in Niger State, the Nigeria government under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced the complete release of all the abducted church school children by the terrorists. According to the presidential spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, the terrorists released the kids based on intelligence-driven operations, but some Nigerians who took to the comment sections of the presidential spokesperson on social media said the government should come out clean and tell the public the truth that it paid money as ransom to the terrorists to secure the freedom of the kids, stressing that terrorists don't release kidnapped victims for free. Bayo Onanuga, the presidential spokesperson, had said in a statement he issued and made available yesterday that the remaining 130 school children abducted by terrorists at St. Mary's Catholic School in Papri, Niger State, on November 21st, have now been released. They are expected to arrive in Minna on Monday and rejoin their parents for the Christmas celebration. 100 were released earlier by the terrorists, taking the total of freed students to 230. The freedom of the school children followed a military intelligence-driven operation. Some social media users who are apparently Nigerians took to the comment sections of the presidential spokesperson post both on Facebook and X social media platforms and expressed themselves over the new developments, some of which are presented verbatim below. Rilwan Ibrahim said, "Released not rescued. Kidnappers don't release captives for free. In all thank God for their lives." Femi Adeboye said, "So what happened to their abductors? Were they engaged in the way they understand, or they were released after monetary negotiation? We thank God for the release of these children. At the same time, what happened to the abductors?" Akinbade Aganbiade said, "Military intelligence-driven operation. As how many bandits did they arrest?" Banki Alesh said, "A wheeler-dealer government of no direction will never say the truth. Only God knows how much ransom was paid from the hard-earned resources or borrowed funds of this country. No amount of propaganda or damage control. Nigerians becomes wiser every day with all your antics and they're ready for you come 2027. Roscoe Oko said, "Sir, with all due respect, do the terrorists release them unconditionally or your government paid ransom?" Joke Megamixer stated, "The presidency celebrates a military intelligence-driven operation for the Papri release, yet says nothing about the fate of the abductors. In a functioning security system, the return of victims is only half the job. Without arrests or neutralized threats, this is not a rescue. It is a handover that comes at a cost that wasn't mentioned." The official account of the Papri release reads like a travel itinerary, not a security report. If this was indeed an intelligence-led operation, where are the suspects? Silence on the abductors' fate suggests a non-combative arrangement that leaves the kidnap industry intact. Mass kidnappings in Niger State have become a cycle of trauma and PR-managed returns. By failing to mention any neutralized threats or arrests in the Papri operation, the presidency inadvertently credits the kindness of terrorists for the freedom of our children. Aliyu Muhammad stated, "Kudos to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, PBAT, for his serious commitment to tackling security challenges. Lately, the government has been putting in real work to end kidnapping and banditry once and for all." Samuel Ozana stated, "Such military intelligence. Transactions completed. Alert received. A government that negotiates with terrorists." Onusum stated, "I'm glad the remaining schoolchildren have been released and will soon be reunited with their families. But, Mr. Bayo, how many terrorists were arrested or killed during the operation to free these children?" Or was it the usual method of paying ransom to these terrorists while pretending otherwise? Ben Samuel stated, "What happened to the kidnappers? Frankly, we're far more interested in seeing how you deal ruthlessly with the terrorists than in the victims themselves, because we all know you'll insist no ransom was paid, even as they were released, perhaps in exchange for Xmas handshakes. You can't easily steal 50 cows and march them into the forests, let alone abduct hundreds of human beings. How do you plan to face Nigerians next year and campaign for APC re-election, when that would only mean more kidnappings and deeper insecurity? This is a truly clueless administration. What Nigerians want is to see the forests littered with the bodies of neutralized kidnappers, proof of overwhelming firepower, but instead, you allow them to regroup and strike again, kidnapping even more victims every day." Chika Ohaji added that, "Mr. Onanuga, don't you think it is just too much to ask children who have been in a terrorist den for close to 2 months to be smiling for the camera? While we are relieved these children who are, from being normal kids, have undergone severe trauma, asking them to smile for the camera is adding salt to injury. They did not go on vacation. It wasn't Disney World. I think you people can do better. Terrorists are in competition with government for control of resources. That tells you a lot." Halata Smith added that, "Check out the words used. How will release follow after a military intelligence operation and no abductors were either arrested or sent to their maker? Looks like we are getting good at hostile negotiations." Honorable Nuhu Sada added that, "We welcome the safe release of the remaining 130 schoolchildren in Papuri. While we rejoice with their families, this tragic abduction underscores the urgent need for effective security reforms to ensure our children can learn without fear."
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.
Increasing rates of mass shooting leading to mass murder in South Africa recorded another new figure on Sunday early morning in the Bekkersdal town near the southwestern part of Johannesburg in the Gauteng province, when about 12 masked unknown gunmen invaded a public drinking, accommodation and relaxation spot known as Tavern, shooting into the pub and shot people as they sight them on the street while fleeing, leading to the killing of 9 persons as confirmed by the local authority, with additional 10 persons sustaining injuries. This occurred less than 3 weeks when gunmen stormed an illegal drinking establishment also known as Shebeen at a hostel in Salisville, west of Pretoria, wherein 12 people were killed, including a 3-year-old child, a 12-year-old boy, and a 16-year-old girl, and in 2024 alone, 26,232 murder cases representing more than 70 people killed per day in South Africa was reported by the South African Police Service, SAPS, and a non-governmental organization, the Democratic Alliance. BC had stated in its report earlier in the year that between January and March 2025, 5,727 people were murdered, representing an average of 62 people killed per day in 2025 first quarter, and 6,985 attempted murders were recorded, 75 per day. 43,776 assaults with intent to cause grievous bodily harm were reported, representing 475 per day. 10,688 people were raped, 116 per day. 4,571 kidnappings occurred, 49 per day. 11,111 common robberies and 35,374 commercial crimes were reported, representing 504 per day. And as at the time of filing in this report on Monday morning, the South Africa President, Cyril Ramaphosa, is yet to issue statement or announce policy action over the Sunday recent mass murder in the country, just as residents who spoke with local media blamed the attack on illegal miners known by the group name Zama Zamas, and the residents believed the police are in cahoots with the different gangsters terrorizing communities in South Africa. Local residents who spoke with local news media said that the mass murder in Bekkersdal occurred around 1 a.m. early morning night on Sunday, December 21st, with about 12 gunmen in a white van and silver sedan opened fire at the Gwamnishu Tavern in Bekkersdal, southwest of Johannesburg. A resident who spoke with Newsroom Africa television said, "It is bad, my sister. The thing is, this has become a norm in this township. Young kids, tender kids as young as 2, 3 years old, when a gunshot sounds, they don't flinch. They would ask you, which direction does it come from? They're used to gunshots. Little kids. Now you can imagine how much about old people. What happened yesterday is a reflection of, I don't know how to put it, maybe, let me put it straight, a reflection of neglect by the police. Criminals, they do as they please here. These guns, they sound each and every evening. Let me put it that way. As soon as it's dusk, we know that gunshots are about to sound. And they will sound severely to a point whereby us ourselves would wonder, someone is shot or maybe someone has died. It is rare that you find people die like this. But gunshots, they sound the following morning. There's no report of someone dead. So I don't know if this, today, it's music, it's something that they enjoy, but it's terrorizing our communities. Who is terrorizing your community? People that are terrorizing our communities mainly is the Zamas and Sutu nationals, to be precise. Why am I saying that? When you talk to some of them, they will tell you that this is a rivalry thing. It's a gang rivalry thing. There are 2 gangs that are in the main that are playing a 4 role here, and they're making sure that they send a clear message to each other. You understand? Because here there's a gang of these people that reside here or that stays with us here, and their arrival is on the other side of town. So as they come here, they're sending a message to these ones, but at the expense of our own community. So I would like to plead with General to please take action with this. And he must be decisive with it, such that he starts from within his own house, there at the police station of Pakistan, if necessary. Let it be that they reshuffle everyone if they can transfer all of them and bring new members here, because we are having a problem with them being in cahoots with criminals, you understand. The community will tell you that police are collecting brown envelopes from these people and nothing is happening. So the crime here is dismal. It's bad. And the leadership, let me be specific, the councillors and the ward committees here must come to play. But I think also they themselves, they're politicizing these issues. They are not up to scratch with this team. Among the 20 people shot, with 9 confirmed dead, police says its investigation is ongoing from the point of view of the terrorist attack. Gauteng Deputy Provincial Police Commissioner, Major General Fred Kekana said the attackers searched people after shooting them, taking their valuables, including phones. He said 3 people were killed inside the bar, while others were shot as they tried to flee, with the gunmen continuing to fire as they left the scene. Gauteng Deputy Provincial Police Commissioner, Major General Fred Kekana also told Newsroom Africa that the perpetrators, armed with pistols and 1 AK-47, were unprovoked. The poor patrons were just enjoying themselves when people came and shot, he said. The police commissioner said among those killed was a driver working for an online ride-hailing service, when about 12 unidentified suspects arrived at the scene in 2 vehicles, opened fire on patrons inside the tavern and fled. At least 10 wounded people were taken to hospital.
Osazuwa Connedo, bringing you the news in a more digital way. Osazuwa Connedo, bringing you the news in a more digital way.